Hi guys, welcome to my review of chapter 887 of One Piece. One day later than I said it would be, but apparently I was also busy yesterday, so yay. But better late than never. And now my review is lined up with when the chapter actually comes out, so yay. Um, we have some things to talk about. Most of it was centered around Pound and that stuff, but we're gonna take that for as the last thing because I want to bring up like the I don't want to call it the controversial topic of death in One Piece, but I want to call it the very discussable topic of deaths in One Piece, because I know I've talked a lot about this in comments both with this chapter and when Pedro died. So I wanted to make it a video. I think maybe I mentioned this in the video, but anyway, we'll put that for last. But I love this chapter. I thought it was really good. Obviously, I cried in my live reaction. Very emotional. But it was great. Let's start a little bit with Capone, because we saw his ship. It can transform kinda into a tank with like the tank checks things, which was really cool. Someone was like, Frankie needs to get on this, and then yeah, he should. Then they would have a flip which could like drive on land, sail on the ocean, and fly in the sky. That would be great. The Sunny needs to upgrade. This is the solution. So that was really cool to see that the Sunny isn't like one of the only ships that have like multiple functions. That's just really cool. And it was just, there was a lot of great stuff in the beginning, just with Sanji and Capone like working together and getting the cake to the ship and stuff. Like it was very good. And then you have the Pound stuff, which in the beginning of my live reaction I was like, wow, that's a really weird title, like why is it so long? And then when you reach the end you're like, oh, I understand now. So that was also really great. I love titles that make so much more sense when you read the entire thing, because then it's like, and as I said in the live reaction as well, like, Pat's entire reaction to everything, like how he smiled and winked at Pound and then cried when he died, and he was the only one who seemed to understand the connection, because Chiffon the entire time was like, who is that weird old pervert, like who is that guy? And then it's just, you didn't even know him. So that again just piled on to the emotional overflow in this chapter. It was very good. And as I said, I think I said this last time as well, that I'm really glad that they did Oven the way they did, because when he was first introduced I was like, oh no, I hope this isn't the character Sanji will fight, because if I want a Sanji fight, I want it to be like against someone we know or someone who's like actually a big threat, and I never really saw Oven as like that level of a threat that I wanted Sanji to have his like first proper fight. And then I was like, because when Capone then came here, I was like, oh, maybe it's Capone's, that'll be a little bit cooler, because that helps out with the Sanji thing. But no, he ends up being, and like, they roll over him pretty easily. And then it becomes like a vehicle, his character becomes a vehicle for Pound's entire character, because from my perspective, Pound is mostly there to deliver this very emotional scene, like, he had those little like tiny things in the beginning, but any character could have done that. And I think just like the emotion that Pound gives to the series here is just, that's very, very nice. And I think it also helps with the Lola factor as well, and possibly can't hit, maybe not his death, but the fact that we have Chiffon and that the Straw Hats, possibly Nami, probably Nami, could tell, oh, Pound was actually your father. That could create the stronger bond between the Fire Tank Pirates and the Straw Hats, because obviously Chiffon likes the Straw Hats, and Capone, I think Capone respects them a lot, but Capone and Luffy aren't people who get along, but if their crewmates get along, I think they'd both be like, okay, maybe this alliance is something we should take a look into, like beyond the Big Mom thing. And maybe that would mean that Capone could come to Wano, because a lot of people have said, oh, Wano, it'll be the arc where all the 11 Supernovas still come together again, we'll all have them there. And I've been like, okay, I do not understand why Capone would follow Luffy to Wano. Why would he do that, knowing that they're gonna go up against another Yonko? I mean, he's not even on Luffy's side. They're on each other's side right now, just because they have they had a common goal of disrupting the wedding. Going into Wano, they would have nothing in common, but this here would give them hopefully something to have in common. So if you dream of having the 11 supernovas in Wano, this makes more sense now. I still don't understand what Bunny would do there. Like, I don't know. We don't know shit about her, but I don't know why she would be there, because most of the other people are accounted for, I think. But yeah, I think that's, if I forgot something, I'll put it in the end. But let's talk about Pound and his death. Because I talked about it a lot. It was emotional, I cried, it was just, there's so many things that just made this moment very good. But because this is One Piece, a lot of people will be like, oh, but maybe he's not dead, and apparently Sawyer put up like a really well thought out theory on why he's possibly not dead, because of the blood and the warm sword or something like that. I have not seen the video yet. And here's my take on it. Obviously, I think, because the thing with One Piece is, it has betrayed us a lot of times when it comes to character deaths. Because we have the whole Pell thing. I hate going back to the Pell thing because that was so long ago, but it is the most memorable, and it did betray us a lot. And when Oda can pull something like that, he can't do anything, because it's like, if this bomb did not kill you, I mean, what will kill you in One Piece? Nothing, apparently. Now, I have said that my reason for everyone who survived things they should not have survived before Ace is because it was very important for Ace and Whitebeard to be the first stats in One Piece. I know a lot of people have also said this, but it just makes Ace's death seem much more... It's more shocking, because when you read that, you're like, oh, no one dies in One Piece. Literally no one dies in One Piece. And then Ace and Whitebeard die, and you're like, damn, shit, they actually died. If people have died more before that, we would have gone into Impel Down and Marineford thinking, oh, there's a really good possibility that Ace could die here, but because no one in the series had died before, unless it wasn't flashback, we just didn't know. Now, obviously, I knew because I got spoiled, but I imagine people who were not in the know would think, oh, there's a great chance he could survive, and especially when Luffy frees him and stuff like that, you're like, oh yeah, he's safe now. And damn. Now after that, we've still been betrayed by character deaths after that. Someone pointed out, like, none of the G5 soldiers died in Punk Hazard, even though, you know, gas and stuff. That was supposed to be this deadly mass weapon of destruction. Blah. Yeah, we were betrayed. Super betrayed. But then we go into the whole factor of, oh, what about Monet and Virgo? Because that's still such a controversial topic. Are they dead? Are they alive? And I will honestly say the biggest reason I've said for people saying, let's just stick with Monet, because I think Virgo is a bigger question mark just because he had abilities that were different. And his death wasn't as clear. But with Monet, the biggest defense I've seen of her being alive is that people don't die in One Piece. Simple as that. But she was caught in an explosion. Caesar literally stabbed her heart. I mean, to me, she seems pretty dead. But this again just goes back to how much faith do you have in Oda killing off these characters? Because as I said, I like to think that Ace and Whitebeard were the first and they were important, therefore he couldn't kill people before that. And while he still betrayed us a little bit after that, I think when you have scenes as clear as literally stabbing someone's heart, and those characters never coming back again when they should probably have come back, that tells me that they're dead. Because I love having scenes like that where you have this emotional build-up, especially with Pedro and Pound in this arc, where you have this big emotional build-up, especially with Pedro. It was very clear with Pedro that he would die. It took me a good while to, like, actually, like, be like, oh my god, Pound is about to die. It took me, like, 3 panels before the sword was going down on him that I was like, god damn. But with Pedro especially, you had this huge emotional build-up, and again, he's had this weird death flag on him this entire arc, and he was like, yeah, this is where I die, I'm gonna die for the Straw Hats, and all this crap. And still there are people who don't think he's dead because Oda betrays us. But here's my take on it. If you think a character is alive, how long are you willing to stay on the belief that that person is alive? Like, because obviously, if they're alive and they come back, you win. congratulations. But if you think a person is alive and they're actually dead, you're literally just waiting until the end of the series for this character to come back, and they will never come back. On the contrary, if you think a character is dead, you will have the emotional, like, you'll have the emotional reaction because you're like, oh no, this character died. On the other hand, if you don't think they're dead, you're like, oh damn. But you'll also be like, you think this character is dead, and then if they come back, you have concrete evidence that you were wrong. You don't have to wait forever for confirmation because you think they're dead and they're never coming back. Like, do you see what I'm getting at? If you think they're dead and you're wrong, you'll get a concrete answer or a concrete, like, evidence that you're wrong the moment they come back. But if you think they're alive and they never come back, you'll have to wait those 10 or 15 years it takes for Oda to finish the goddamn series. And I'm not saying that believing that these characters are alive is dumb, because Oda has betrayed us. He's done that so many times. But I still think that would, because I do believe in cinematic stuff where you have these very powerful panels and this emotional thing going into something and then killing the character off, making their character death seem really spectacular, like with Pound. Like, I didn't cry. I think I was like teary-eyed when Pedro died, but I don't think I actually cried. With Pound, I was weeping. I couldn't read the words on the page for like 3 minutes. That was why I was just like, please give me a minute here. Because I was just like, I was crying so hard. And obviously, I'm gonna be so angry if Pound turns out by the end of the arc to be alive. That will make me very angry. But it ruins the experience for me that if I believe he's alive, my experience right now will be ruined. And I don't want that to happen because he could be dead. Because this is the New World. And the entire thing about the New World is that it's supposed to be a lot more dangerous than the first half of the Grand Line. And I think with Oda literally having killed off at least 4 named characters, Virgo, Monet, Pound, and Pedro, that just makes it seem more dangerous because no one died in the first half. And again, as I said, Virgo, I can believe Virgo's alive. That's the one question mark I could have. But Monet, Pedro, and Pound in my mind are dead until Oda proves that they're not. Yeah, I just wanted to do that because people ask me, and it's always a question. Every time someone dies in One Piece, it's like, oh, are they dead or not? And with Pedro, it was, I think 90% of people thought that he was dead, and about 10% were like, oh, he might be alive. Here, it's 50-50. Or at least my comment section was. It was like 50-50 if people thought he was dead or alive. Which was why I wanted to bring this up. But do you see what I mean? And again, it comes back to probably if you're an optimist or a pessimist, because I want to believe this scene was perfect. And I don't see where Pound's character would go after this anyway. Like, what would he do? Reunite with his daughters? They don't even know who he is. That's what I forgot to talk about. Let's talk about that now. Just, because one of you pointed out, like, how brutal Big Mom is with these husbands of hers. And what I wanted to elaborate on that, because that comment was like, oh, she's probably a rapist because she doesn't really care about them. She's a rapist, it's all bad. And I pointed out, well, she waits until the birth of her children to get rid of her husbands, which means that she's, as we know, she's very, what can you call it? She's very particular about the blood of her children, because they're all half something, half whatever, she's human, I assume, half human and half whatever everyone else is. So she cares about the blood, so she waits until she gives birth, oh my god, sees, are they healthy, are they alive, and then she washes them off, which I think, because it lines up with her, like, dream or goal of having this nation that's all diverse and stuff, which the only thing that makes her seem like a decent person is the diversity thing, but, like, everything else about her, she's just batshit crazy. But yeah, I forgot to mention that. But anyway, that's just my little take on how to view deaths in One Piece. Obviously, I don't think that's gonna change anyone's mind, but that's just why I think the way I do. So when I see a character death and I immediately assume this character is dead, it's not because I am unaware that Oda betrays us, it's because I feel like everything would be ruined for me if I don't believe that, and I would rather be proven wrong than have to wait until the end of the series to like just assume that I would have to be wrong because we never saw this character again. So that is why. Because we could literally have this, is this character dead or alive argument until the end of the series, where it will then be clear, or until that person comes back. So, yeah. That's just my 2 cents on it, but I'm gonna end this little video here, so you can leave a thumbs up if you liked anything that I had to say. Leave in the comments below, you can leave your opinion on whether or not you think Pound is dead, but more leave your opinion on how to view character deaths in One Piece, because everyone has their own perspective. Like, how many of those 4 characters, like Monet, Virgo, Pound, and Pedro, do you think are alive, and how many do you think are dead? Do you think all of them could be alive? Do you think all of them are dead? Do you think it's 50-50? Who knows? So I'm interested in that, because, again, this series betrays us. And you can subscribe if you want to see more, obviously. And until next time, bye.